GTC, React, CCR. What's up, guys? GeorgeTheCloud here. Welcome to the channel and welcome to my life. Creedence Clearwater Revival, born on the Bayou. Bayou. I was thinking about how to pronounce this before even starting the video, and I don't know. It's one of those words, but it reminds me of the Blue Bayou by Linda Ronstadt. I did react to that song as well. Bayou. I don't know. I'm gonna figure it out once the Blue Bayou. Yes. All right. So this is only my third time reacting to CCR. I am still, new to them and diving into the rabbit hole. So if you guys have more suggestions, please comment down below. And also, you can find me on Patreon and the coffee platform. It really helps out a lot. So big shout out to Brad for the coffee. All right. Let's get into the song. I'll do some research at the end. I don't believe I have had the pleasure of hearing this before. So, first time. Grab some popcorn, fill up your water, put your headphones on. And let's go. That bass. Bayou. The hairstyles. the vocals here carry such freedom of expression, and maybe that is the nature of blues music, but I really appreciate how like real it sounds. Like it's not, it's not somebody that's trying to sound like proper on the mic and do it in like this refined way here and that. He's just like, he's singing it the way he wants to sing it. And it's similar to the same commentary I had for The Doors, which I reacted to for the first time yesterday. If you want to check out that video, first things first, we hit the like. I am subscribed, and I'll have a link of the original video down in the description below. As I swallow, 34 million views, deserves more. And it's hard to give these songs the numbers that they deserve, because they came out in an era before social media, before the internet, before technology. So it's not going to seem like what they should be getting, right? It's the same debate. People are kind of comparing, Drake now to Michael Jackson. And I know this is kind of off topic, but Drake's, it's a current artist, rap music, hip hop. He's putting out albums, and he just topped Michael Jackson on the Billboard Hot 100 of like most like best #1 albums or something like that. And of course, his fans are going to defend him and say, yes, he's the GOAT, he's the greatest, etc. And everyone else is thinking what I'm thinking. This is, Michael Jackson was in an era long before all this hype that you see with like using TikTok and Instagram and all this. It's not fair, and it's not the same. It doesn't count. It doesn't count the same. So all that to say that, imagine if YouTube existed back then. That's how we would know. All right, this song came out in like the 70s. We would see the view count all the way from the 70s, and it would be a lot more than 34 million. And by the way, when did this come out? I'm going to guess 1976. 1976 is my educated guess. Let us see. 1969, January 5th, as the opening track on their second studio album, Bayou Country. It was also released as the B-side to the hit single Proud Mary, which I did react to a few weeks ago. Okay. All right. So, interesting thing about this, I had heard this song before, but I only remembered the chorus, which by the way, let me let me go back here to remind my Born on the Bayou. Born on the Bayou. But I had no idea that's what it was saying. Back then, when I was listening to this song, I probably thought it was saying like, I'm going to buy you something, right? So completely different, but that really stands out. And the way he's like belting out those vocals, it kind of reminds me of Janis Joplin. I don't think I have seen Clearwater Revival live, like on video. So I don't know what their dynamic is for the presentation, but the way he's singing like this, very like, animated, like energetic, I feel like it would look something like how I have seen Janis Joplin perform, or Jimmy Page, Led Zeppelin, people like that, just super like into it in their own way. Maybe like even James Brown, somebody like that. So at some point I will check them out live on here. Man, it's just the fact that they're talking about growing up, you can remember the 4th of July, running around the backyard, just having fun. And, his dad used to, tell him this, don't do what the man says, like have your own path. And I take that as representation of, don't get stuck in the system, right? The corporate world that we're living in, and you have to follow this and do that, and it's like the 9 to 5 cycle, and they kind of want us to be just followers, sheep, just live like this, work for us, and we'll take care of you, and that's it. Like, have no other thought, right? And I think this is saying, like, hey son, live your life to the fullest, do what you want. And then we see some photos of the band members here. Okay, I guess there was only 4. The glasses, the hairstyle, the attire. This is very cool. This is just something about, I think that's universal. Even for the new generation, you see, like, I technically I'm what am I, Gen Z? I think I'm Gen Z. I'm not. I could classify as millennial, but then the new generation, beta and alpha and all these, they still find the old school aesthetic pleasing, like looking at old photographs and the retro vibes and this and that, and you see it kind of come back, with filters that people use on their photos, on their stories, right? And so it is for a reason, I guess, timeless and classic. By the way, very good lyric video. I'm of course more of a fan of watching music videos because we can see the whatever concept they have, but this is one of the best lyric videos that I have seen in terms of the graphic design on here and placement of the lyrics. I don't think I have seen something like this, and it's just done very well. The way they put it on the left, photo on the right, very big, bold letters, great timing. I just had to point it out. So respect to whoever did that. And I'm trying to remember where the band is from, that they are connected to the Bayou, which is a body of water. Was it Mississippi? Let me double check here. Actually, let's get into the meaning of the song really quick. And I do this for both myself and for you guys. Some people comment like, oh, we want to hear how it makes you feel, etc. And I give you guys my opinion, and like, this is what it reminds me, this is how I feel. But I also do the research so I can learn about it. But maybe you guys already know the story, which is fine, and you can still let me know in the comments. So, this is a masterpiece of American myth making. The song tells the story of a backwoods Louisiana local, reflecting on a carefree, heat-filled childhood surrounded by Southern folklore, despite being written by a California native who had never visited a bayou. Also, a bayou, I'm going to have to add that to my vocabulary and try to remember how to pronounce it. California roots. Songwriter and frontman John... I'm sorry, Brad. I'm forgetting how to pronounce it. Fogarty? I think it's Fogarty, was born and raised in Berkeley, California. When he wrote the song, he had never even seen a bayou and relied on encyclopedias and his own imagination. And this is something of its time, because now you could have just looked it up on the internet. But of course, in 1969, you didn't have that privilege, so you had to go to the library, look at encyclopedia, and I guess make it up as it says here. So he aimed to capture a mythical childhood set on the 4th of July, blending imagery of swamp life with the folklore of a hoodoo, a magical spiritual entity or ghost. Another word that I had never heard before. Maybe it was more common back then. Hoodoo? He didn't actually visit a real bayou until months after recording the song, when a musician friend took him on a trip to Bayou Forge in Louisiana. I think it was fitting. I mean, you had to, if you write a song about a bayou, you might as well visit one. The lyrics conjure a vivid atmosphere of the American South, and there was this big segment in the middle of the song where it served as like the bridge between the beginning and the end, and it did feel very atmospheric, kind of like you're there, you're surrounded with, nature, with the place, and you're just kind of simmering in it, right? No need for, lyrics or a crazy guitar solo or anything like that, just kind of the environment. The song waves or weaves themes of youth and escaping strict rules. The narrator mentions the man telling him to come home, but he rebels to stay out, chasing down a hoodoo. It captures a rebellious countercultural fascination with a simpler, back to nature way of life. And I imagine people living in the backwoods, of Louisiana or another place like this one, then they have a lot of mythical lore, surrounding, creatures and stuff. I live right in a city, so we definitely don't have that as much, which is unfortunate because I'm very fascinated with cryptids, Bigfoot, and, Mothman and all these other, creatures. Anyway, so swamp rock. The song is a prime example of the swamp rock genre. Swamp rock. I had forgotten about that genre. It is defined by Fogerty's overdriven guitar riffs, slow amped tremolo, and rhythmic bluesy groove. The live energy. The track is famous for its raw, powerful energy. It was famously used to open their legendary early morning set at the 1969 Woodstock Festival. Have not seen that video yet. All right. Well, there we have the history. I love learning about it. New words, new imagery in my head. I hope to someday visit a bayou myself. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe, and at the end, do a flip. Till the next.